Hey, are you one of the 87% of people enjoying this channel on YouTube that aren't currently subscribed? Let's fix that by hitting the subscribe button down below. Thanks. How's it going, everybody? Here are the deck tech for Lotus Field, perennial all-star pioneer that comes and goes depending on the meta. A lot of people figured the deck would take a hit with Thalia entering the format, but I'm here to say that I think the deck is still very well positioned. Let's break down the deck so we can get into the matches. Looking at the mana base, you are almost exclusively a green-blue deck, with the exception of cards that you're trying to cast with Lotus Field. So all of your lands are going to produce green or blue. You have Pathway, 4 Sanctums, 3 Temple of Mysteries for a little bit of selection, 4 Coasts, and a Forest as your basic, a Blast Zone as your utility land to be able to deal with problematic permanents that can interact with the way you want to combo, and then the namesake of the deck. You have 4 Lotus Fields, which by themselves, powerful effect, but when you pair them with Thespian Stage, all of a sudden you ramp from 3 mana to 6 mana in a single turn, and you're able to start casting huge spells way above curve. So to facilitate our plan of getting Lotus Field Thespian Stage into play, we have 4 Arboreal Grazers, a classic in land-based strategies. We have Baral, Chief of Compliance, helping us get through our combo 1 turn faster, and also help block in some of the aggro decks. 3 Fae of Wishes, which, especially as we're comboing, lets us be a little bit stronger against some of the Slaughter Games type effects because we can put our combo cards in the sideboard, as well as gives us a whole toolbox in the sideboard we'll discuss later. Hidden Strings, being able to untap 2 lands, so if you have a Lotus Field and a Thespian Stage that's a Lotus Field, you pay 2 mana to net 6 mana. You're up 4 mana for the cost. This allows you to, again, turbo out your spells. Shimmer of Possibilities, if this deck relied more on the graveyard or cared more about the cards going to the graveyard, you'd probably play something else, but this lets you see 4 cards deep. Great spell that you can cast on turn 3 with your 2 mana that you're going to sacrifice to Lotus Field and be able to dig for another spell. And because the cards stay in your deck, you don't have to worry about binning important combo pieces. Next up, we have Sylvan Scrying. Another one of these cards. The 2 mana spells, with the exception of Fae of Wishes, are very good to be able to cast on turn 3 because you take the turn off to play your Lotus Field. Being able to cast your spell and Lotus Field is great. This helps you consistently find Lotus Field or your Thespian Stage to ensure you have your mana. 1 of Galvanic Iteration, because this card has seen a lot of play in a lot of decks, and sometimes just being able to double up your spell, like double up a Pour Over the Pages, is enough to win the game. The fact that you can also discard it to Pour Over the Pages or cards like that and be able to still use it later on when you have extra mana is great. Being able to Galvanic for Sylvan Scrying or Shimmer, also nice. It's not a card I'm super high on, but I'm interested to see if it comes up in the league, if there's any interesting scenarios that show up. Next up, we have Vizier of Tumbling Sands. Although it is a creature, it really only has the cycling text. If you're playing it as a creature, you're almost always blocking with it or playing as a deck that is also trying to be a linear combo deck. But in reality, you're just using it as a net 1 mana for your Lotus Fields, as well as draw a card. Valagad Recovery, again, allows you to have a few extra mana, because we are only running 22 with Grazers, which is a little low, but gives you a couple extra mana sources, and being able to pick up your spells that you've cast, like Pour Over the Pages or Hidden Strings, often nets you a ton of mana in the mid-game. Pour Over the Pages is your bread and butter. This is the spell that is going to let you untap 2 Lotus Fields, draw 3 cards, pitch a card, and all of a sudden you're up 1 mana but 2 cards, usually 3 because you're pitching an excess land, and all of a sudden you're off to the races. And then we have our combo package. With the exception of Dig Through Time, I'll move this over. Dig Through Time, again, sort of like Pour Over the Pages, is helping you filter through and find your selection. It's almost always going to cost 2 mana in this deck as you get to the mid game, but again, you aren't putting too much in the graveyard, so can't really run too heavy of a Delve package. So our combo. We have Peer into the Abyss, Emergent Ultimatum, and Omniscience. So when you cast Emergent Ultimatum, the package you're almost always going to get, assuming you have all relevant cards still in your deck, is Omniscience, Peer into the Abyss, Pour Over the Pages. The reason is that with Peer into the Abyss, you draw half the cards in your library. Again, we talked about things like Hidden Strings, Vizier, Pour Over the Pages, these cards that untap your lands so that you're able to generate a bunch of mana, you have a ton of card advantage, and then you have Pour Over the Pages. So if they give you Peer and Pour, you get to draw 3, discard, untap 2 lands, and then draw half your deck. You're almost always going to be able to go off from there. Just keep cycling until you hit your Omniscience or a Fae and be able to combo out. If they give you Omniscience, and pour, well, anything you draw off the pour, you can cast for free. It's almost never correct for them to give you Omniscience, with the exception of if you're, empty-handed and you're going to Omniscience plus pour over the pages and they're hoping you miss on 3 spells. It's a tough look. If they ever give you Omniscience, you almost always will win. Be careful against cards like Rolling Vortex, though. That will be a reason they can give you Omniscience. But then again, Emergent Ultimatum is not good into cards like that as well. So Peer into the Abyss, you can just cast as a 7 mana, draw half your deck. A lot of times you'll just discard down to 7 spells and win the next turn. But again, half your life is a lot, so you don't want to do that in some matchups, but in some matchups, doesn't really matter. So you've made all your mana, done all these things. Let's say you don't find any of these cards and you need to go to the Fae of Wishes. So looking at the sideboard, you have Approach of the Second Sun. That is your go-to win condition. It allows you to quickly loop through twice with cards like Dig Through Time, Pour, etc. And you just cast it twice and win. You have 9 lives as a toolbox card against aggro. Buys you a ton of time to be able to survive and hopefully combo them out. Memory Deluge, a nice card that you board in a fair amount against some of the controlling decks, so that you're able to get 2 looks at a lot of cards, but it can also be a reasonable sideboard get if you're pressed for mana, but most of the time if you're looking for a draw card, you're going to take the Peer. 2 Mystical Disputes that you board in as actual sideboard cards against controlling decks. Blink of an Eye, good against Narset, good against Eidolon, good against Archon of Maria, any of the things that would shut you down, Blink of an Eye can get rid of, and step that as a turn and then combo off. Again, Peer, having your combo cards in the sideboard allows you to avoid Slaughter Games type effects. And again, things like Omniscience can be in the main, because if someone Slaughter Games Omniscience, you can still win by just casting your mana, or getting mana off of your spells. So even though it is nice to have a free spell, it's not needed. Thought Distortion, another card you can Fae for in game 1, but usually you side these 2 in against control decks. Eventually you'll find your Thought Distortions and just clear their hand, and it's very hard for them to answer or interact. Anger of the Gods, another card you actually side in against the aggro decks, mainly because you cast off a single Lotus Field is a big reason you want to actually board it in. A lot of times you can get 1 Lotus Field down, but you won't have time to turn it into 6 mana, so you need to have an extra Wrath effect that will work. Wilt answers some of the problematic permanents like Rolling Vortex, as well as Damping Sphere. However, Blink of an Eye is the more ubiquitous one, so I'll usually want 1 in the deck, 1 out of the deck. Wilt, though it can cycle, is a little bit more narrow, so I'll often leave it out of the deck and just leave Blink in. Supreme Verdict, good against the Spirits decks and any of the other creature decks, but especially the Can't Be Countered clause. It's a little awkward because you can't cast it off a single Lotus Field, and you need a Lotus Field to produce white and have an extra blue mana, but when needed, it's good, especially if they outsize the Anger of the Gods. Next up, 2 Ugins, though you can sideboard this in, especially in some matchups. I almost always want at least 1 in the sideboard for mid-games where you have a lot of mana, and you need to answer both permanents and creatures, or situations where they might have answers to wrath effects in the form of Selfless Spirit or things like that. So that's the deck at a high level. It's one of those decks that you want to watch play out a few times. You'll get the feel pretty quickly, and then it's about making the right decisions in the corner cases and finding your small percentages. So with that, let's get right into the league. All right, here we are with round number 1, Lotus Field. Let's see how this goes. Okay, so we're up against a Yorion deck, so we're not going to be under too much pressure right away. This hand has kind of everything. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, I mean, this hand's fine. Doesn't quite do everything as fast as we might want it, but I can't really be mad about getting to do this. White-black, so they're probably the white-black Yorion deck. Alright, Thoughtseize is fine. We have all the pieces. They'll take the Pour or the Peer, but we don't care about either. We have the other one. As long as we have 1. Yeah, Pour makes sense. It's not our best draw, but it's okay. Villain Scrying for another Thespian Stage. Make this big so we don't misclick. Stage. Right, so we'll go Lotus Field, Stage, make a copy. Stage, make a copy. Ooh. This. Let me get this into play now. Means that we can turn 4, we'll have the same situation. We'll just be able to turn 5 Peer instead of having to wait till turn 6. Yorion, sure. Oh, Brawl's not a bad one. Alright, what do you got? We're gonna win. Power would kill our Brawl, sure. Thoughtseize or bust from our opponent here. It's not a bad one at all. I'll draw half our deck. Doesn't really matter what we're doing here. Alright, Lotus Field can go. Start with our lands. Okay, the Shimmers can go. We'll keep one Vizier. We already have one Balagad. So, Pour, Omniscience, Strings, Vizier, Balagad. Pour. Okay. That seems good to me. Very easy to craft a win from this. Plenty of cards to work with. We'll get an Omniscience into play and kill him. We also have the Balagad to pick it back up if we need. As Wrath. Okay, well. Been fun, opponent. We'll start with a copy of this. Pour. Strings. Omniscience. Granted. Cool. Alright. Pretty easy. One Thoughtseize not enough against this style of deck. Alright, so they're white-black Yorion stuff. What do we think they have that we care about? Don't think we need 9 lives. Excuse me, or Deluge. Ugin's probably okay, but I don't think we want it main. I don't think we need any of these Wraths. Mostly we're just going to be looking at boarding into 2 ofs, because these are cards we want to flex in. And these are almost always going to be our silver bullets from the sideboard. I don't think we want any of these. Definitely want to keep these in the board to protect them. Because the chance they have like a Necromantia effect. So maybe we do want a Nugan in the main, but I feel like I have to take Fae. I do think we want something like these effects in. Trim 2 Grazers. Yeah, I don't mind that at all. I just want to have a plan against Rest in Peace and Damping Sphere, or like an Eidolon. Just like any of the things that they could have. We have Fae for Ugin if we get to the mid to late game and still need to find an answer and haven't found those two. Okay. This hand happens a lot with this deck, where you can keep this hand, play turn 1 Thespian Stage, and hope to hit a second land that isn't Lotus Field. But I don't think we're in that much of a rush. Alright. Well, we'll just never find lands. That is a problem. Okay. This hand can win. We need a land and any form of card draw. Alright, well. We were correct on what we were guessing to bring in. So the Wilt and the Blink of an Eye will be helpful here. I might want to bring in Ugin though. Grab a field. We'll cast 1 spell a turn until we can cast all the spells in our deck. That's fine. Oh, they kept a hand that doesn't really function just on the back of Deafening Silence. Ooh. We do want to get rid of this extra. We do want to recoup some of our card loss. We'll get Pour here. Next time we just play this and make it another one. Yeah, okay, sure. Didn't matter what we took. There we go. Well, now we have 6 mana. Our opponent's stuck on lands. The solid yield mull to 3. Okay. I'm gonna pour. Can't cast anything else. That's fine. The scrying will be good because we'll be able to get another stage, and excuse me, then we have unlimited mana. Opponent's gonna discard. Alright. 9 mana it is. We may only be able to cast one spell a turn, but next turn we can grant it for Ugin if we want to, and then game basically ends. I guess Pure is better. I should have made blue here because I get cycled on tap. I can still do that if I play blue land. Yeah, that's all fine. Alright. Let's start over here. Brawl, land grazer. Just start by getting rid of the ones we absolutely won't need. There's the blink we're gonna want. Alright, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You're actually gonna need that. There we go. Because of Balagad, we don't actually have to care. That was not the correct pick, opponent. Yeah. Had to take the blink and hope we didn't find anything. That was a nice little mold of 3 win on our opponent missing their third land. A lot of decks will do that. They'll just keep a card that's supposed to impact the matchup, but if you don't have any pressure backing it up, like, take our time. This is solid mold of 3. Alright, on to round number 2. Alright, here we are back for round number 2. Off our mold of 3 victory. Let's see if we can keep it rolling. Kahira. So this is probably blue-white. I'm gonna keep this on the back of not being pressured, most likely. We just need to find any land. Oh, that's the worst card in our deck. Any land turns its hand on pretty effectively. Huh. I wonder if this is not blue. I mean, it should be blue-white, given Kahira. Yeah, okay. It's just Narset, Sunset Revelry for draw a card. Fair. There we go. We did it. Now we can shimmer, try to find a land. But we don't want to sack this Thespian stage. I'll shimmer. I'll take the Balagad. It's fine. We'll poke him to death. Alright, next turn we jump to 6 mana. So, take it. Probably a Deluge. Deluge to Teferi would be a pain, but again, we're just gonna try and grind him out here. We're not ever really in a rush against these style decks. We just need to find the right setup. I mean, they have vetoes, but again, we can run them out of cards to a degree. Because we have Peers, Ultimatums, dig through time? Yeah. We have Peers, Ultimatums, Phase, just Omniscience, Hardcast. Pores become must counters at a point. Like, we do just run them out of cards. Yep, it's very. They could tuck the Brawl here. They're not afraid. Makes sense. Sure. Alright, well, now we have 6 mana. I doubt they'll ever tap out again. But Teferi Emblem actually doesn't do anything against our Lotus Fields, which is kind of funny. Well, that's bad for us. Absorb, sure. Yeah, Narset's a pain for sure. Five. Alright, we'll pass. We need to find some Fab Wishes, Ultimatums, things that can draw out these counter spells. Well, this is a mistake from our opponent. Like, they have this Teferi, they don't actually have to do anything, right? Remember that we need to find things? Well, now we just get to find them. Alright, well, Veto's, again, a problem. Now they have answers for both of these. Just float mana. Gotta get those tiny edges. Gonna crack this before they go to discard. Lands that aren't Lotus Fields aren't terrible. They're not great, but they at least get us closer to doing things. 2 verdicts, sure. Okay. We're gonna Hidden Strings. Maybe we can't bait out a little bit of action here. Yeah. Now. 3, 4, 5, 8. Untap these 2. We have these 2 to pitch. Gonna be janky. 2, 5, 6. It's exactly enough, but exactly enough's enough. They have to counter this or we get to kill their Narset. No, they're just gonna let us kill their Narset. Oh, I miscounted by 1? Never mind. It's me. I miscounted by 1. Well, I guess we're still here. Thought they would have countered that. Need to draw more things like this, I guess, but great. Alright, so they could have blocked it, so that's why they didn't counter it at all. Ugh, Narset game 1 is tough if you're not quite fast enough. Because it turns off Pier is the biggest problem. We can get to 9 mana. Knowing they have a counter spell makes it tough for sure. Yeah, game 1 Narsets are tough. Alright, I think, hold on. No, because they have the field, we can't really do anything in the Teferi, so. Alright, I'll scoop to turn to the game 1 Narset here. Alright, things we want for sure. Want these disputes, deluge, and thought distortion. Things we don't want. Grazers. Get rid of iteration. Thought distortion's our best card in a matchup like this. I guess we do want blink of an eye, probably. I want it to be over something like this, but it can't be that. We have a brawl. Really, we just want to like fire off a thought distortion and then just combo from there. Alright, let's take the play. Alright, keep this hand. Turn 2, we get scrying. The fact that we can get Blink of an Eye and other things that can counter. I'm not sure what they think they could distort here. Or dispute, but we have the Lotus Field, so let's grab the Thespian stage. Don't really care if they know about this. It's all fine. Shimmer, see if they want to do anything about it. They might, but we don't really care. Yeah, sure. There we go. You're into hand, or Kahira to hand, the other one. Well, Thought Distortion next turn will be nice. Only thing that beats us here is a Narset's Bristle, which now we have covered thanks to this dispute. I'd like to take your hand, please. Oh, just all these. They're gonna have Glacial Fortress, Kahira. What did I miss? Oh, Mantris, of course. Alright, you're up. Oop, that's in there. I'll get rid of this. We want it to be green and black. Okay. Yeah, they just have sixed. No real point. I mean, if we wanted to do it correctly, we cycle the Vizier to get a little extra mana, so we have the dispute up, but they have six the first spell, so. Alright. Yeah, it turns out early Thought Distortion's backbreaking against control. Especially if they don't have like a turn 3 Narset. Okay. Balaged, Lotus Field. I don't hate this hand on the draw. It's a little bit awkward. We'd love to have a non-Balaged land here. Perfect. Now we just play this tapped. Then we can play Sanctum. That's fine. This looks like a Kahira to hand. This looks like a dispute, so they can't just freely run it out. Let's scrying. Good stage. Play field. Yeah, deck just does the same thing. Next turn, we get to have 6 mana into Distortion with Blink of an Eye in hand. Dropping an early Kahira, trying to kill us. Alright, Kahira plus Dispute. So we can cycle this to net a mana. Then lets us cycle this, but it's not enough mana, so I'm just gonna do this. We can wait one turn. Consider? Sure. That's all fine. That's all fine. Alright, 5 mana. Is it Teferi time? It is Teferi time. I'll take our 3. This time we will do everything correctly, just because even though we do want Thought Distortion, we want to get this too, so. Blue, blue. Let's make some mana. So we want to up our chance of being able to draw in strings, see if they care about this at all. They don't. That's so much mana though. Let's do this. It's a really good bait spell. Yeah, there's the veto. It's the full 7 for 0. And next turn we have Bala Ged Recovery to get back the Pour Over the Pages and just start going off. I don't need that one. Alright, they get 1 turn to draw a dispute. Yep, you're in with a human. Otherwise, we're in under the wire here. Oh, well, that'll show us. Alright. That should do it. Don't need to tap those yet. Yeah, that'll more than do it. Alright, easy dub. Here. Omniscience. Pour. Which one do you want to die to? That's the only choice they get here. Alright, well, we'll draw our deck. Alright, up to 2-0. That's a nice example of being able to slow it down and play a little bit more controlling game against the slower decks, even beating the control deck games 2 and 3. Thought Distortion, very powerful tool in this deck. Alright, on to round number 3. Alright, here we are back for round number 3 up against Utah. Yorion, so probably blue-white blink. I believe Utah plays a lot of that on here. I think it's fine. Yep. Blue-white blink things. Utah gets a lot of 5-0s with that list. We'll scry. Don't really need that. Need to start finding some action. Oh, I don't know what their counter package looks like. Alright, I'm gonna... Oh, I don't need to pay a life. Do it this way. Grab Lotus Field. Next turn we get a 6 mana, and we just need to find a thing to do with 6 mana. Not gonna attack. Alright. Last one's not a bad one. Alright. Well, we have reached the point we reach every game. Scry or Omen the Sun? Scry. We have reached the point we always reach. So now, we just need to draw something good. Alright, let's start by cycling. Build up our mana a little bit in case we need to go again. Also gives us a chance to see if we need to just start there. We still have a land drop for turn in case they have a counterspell here. Okay, well, we have unlimited mana for next turn. Get rid of our lands. Brawl can go. Grazer, lands, Carroted, cards of flashback. And I'll get rid of 2 shimmers. So we have dig, omniscience, untap, untap, untap. The ultimatum's not as good here. Get rid of 1 Fae. There we go. Got plenty of mana, plenty of stuff to do. You got it. Yeah, we played that well enough to get around 1 counterspell there. Do the same thing, just build up a ton of mana. Big reason is that it just makes it harder for them to interact with us meaningfully. It's like the counter 1 spell, we just cast 2 other ones. Okay. Omniscience it is. Alright, main deck veto. That will happen some amount of time, so we just cast recovery. Just recovery on poor. Again, we make it so that they have to counter us every turn for the rest of the game. That's just our goal here. Make them have a counter spell every turn of the game. Alright. Cast granted here. That resolves. Interesting. Now just make sure we clear the way here. Alright. The way is clear. Alright, do this. Thespian Sage Fae. I'll just set up for next turn. They have 1 turn to draw a card. Cast this on Omniscience. Wait, yeah, there's Omniscience. Granted. Approach. Cast with Omniscience. Cast. Dig. And approach. Alright, on to game number 2. So we want our disputes, blink, and our distortion. And deluge. Exact same thing as last time. Even though they're a little different, still want the same style of. Alright, we're back. This hand has a little bit too much high end. This hand's good though. We have the shimmer. I'm gonna put away the Fae. We don't really need the Fae this early. Shimmer's good. Might get countered. I'd be terribly shocked if it did, but I think we still go for it. Okay, now hitting a land is a little tough. We'll take the dispute. Okay. No Narset is pretty big for us. Or another Shimmer. There's our Lotus Field. Alright, not bad. Not great, but not bad. Alright, we're gonna cycle this to start. That's not quite what we want. There we go. I completely missed that, so that's on me. Just actually autopiloted there for a hot minute. It's okay. Just gonna ballot get it back. But that does leave us a little vulnerable. I think we have to not let ourselves get Yorin. We can ballot get later. We're not in a rush. It's not Yorin, sorry, like Teferied or anything like that. No. Six. Poor. I'm gonna play the Balagad, because then we can just play the Lotus Field. Teferi is fine. Narset's worse than Teferi against us. Okay, they just decided to do nothing. Interesting. Lead on scrying. Lead on stage here. Gives us 8 mana next turn. Oh, if they're just doing this, that's fine. Okay. Not bad. Let's start with poor, see what they do about this. Nothing. I like that a lot for our chances here. A Shimmer. Ooh. They want both of these. Let's run out this Thought Distortion. Oh. When they just didn't cycle Shark Typhoon in response? Okay. Yeah, they're in just all lands. Yeah, you're up. Yeah, they're gonna scry. Let's see what they do. One on top, one on bottom, sure. What'd you find? Omen? Sure. But what are you gonna do with the Omen? 2 on bottom. Alright, so I drew a random. Shimmer. Balagid's good enough. Untap these. Cast Balagid on pour over. Let's just see the most cards. Well, it's not ideal. We can distortion later. But now we put the omniscience on the bottom with the shimmer. We just really need to find a threat while they're low on resources. We're gonna have unlimited mana. This will draw a card eventually. Oh, you know what we should be doing? That was actually a mistake. We should just copy their castle and scry. That was the better play. Just autopiloted again. I gotta stop doing that. Tiny edges in a matchup like this are not the biggest thing, because we just like clear the way and kill them, but tiny edges are important here. We also want to be scrying here. Take advantage of the fact that we know they're pretty light on action right now. One on top, one on bottom, sure. Sure, Narset's fine. Not ideal, but fine. Teferi, huh? I'll put this back in your hand. It's actually a problem. We're gonna have to use their castle to kill this Narset. Yeah, again, Teferi doesn't really matter. It absorbs fine. We're gonna clear the way when we need to. And this has been just a disaster of tiny edges coming back to get us. Not that one. Okay. Top, bottom. Alright, so we're gonna make a guy and attack this Narset. So they're gonna do the same, I presume. Oh, we're gonna Thought Distortion. Well, Deafening Silence, man. They really have found a lot of the, like, one card we care about. The Narset, Void Shatter, messing up the Field of Ruin. It's a real good example of me messing up a game that I feel like we shouldn't have been able to lose. Yeah, and they're never gonna let us. Never gonna let us attack, so we need to almost assuredly just find. Alligator's not really what we need. Need to be able to bounce this. Scrying doesn't do it. Yeah, I think we're just gonna end up too far behind. I'd rather have a game 3. Yeah, that's frustrating. We just like completely cleared the way and then it didn't matter. I'm gonna bring this back in. Yeah, we had so much we could have found, but just didn't find it. The turn where we didn't take the Omniscience or the Deluge was tough. That's okay. These disputes didn't pay out very well either. I think that's rarer than not. Like, they played with a lot of patience and it punished us when we made a mistake or two. This hand's pretty good. Not amazing, but again, I will take most hands that have. This lets us. We're gonna bottom this. We really just want to find Lotus Fields, and like, even though that's the second land to sacrifice to Lotus Field, we can just find another land off Shimmer if we need to. Well, we will eventually find one. Alright, let's see what they got going on. Worst case is Narsets, just slam a Narset, yeah. We've gotten punished a couple times. Another Narset, sure. Yeah, we've definitely gotten punished a couple times by just like having to tap out at inconvenient times when we have a dispute. Well, we have 6 mana, so now we can actually like just fight through it and find a way to answer this. Just find them both, huh? Yeah. This has just been okay. Oh, we'll just try and find more mana. Sure. We can do both of these this turn if I want to. See what they got going on. That's fine. Cycle. Not bad once we get there. Alright, well, don't really want either of those, so I'll just take those. Yeah, we'll Shimmer now. Grab Fae. And the one spell a turn is going to neutralize our mana advantage a little bit, but we're just going to like dig through time, find our blink of an eye, and then go from there. Yeah, sure, you can make a guy. That's fine. Arming Prince is worth your one spell this turn. Oop, not Deluge. Fey Temple's fine. They look like they have a counter spell. Did we bring in the Wilt? We didn't. That's a little bit dumb on our part. Well, it's cast granted. Let's look at counter spell. Sure. Much as I'd like more mana, it doesn't really do anything for us. Tap them out for a turn. Rest doesn't matter. Grabugan. See rest in pieces, sure. They're gonna choose not to cast any spells here. Interesting. We can also Fae for Wilt, is another big one for us, but right now I just wanna, we're not under enough pressure that I wanna fight too much right now. Yeah, we lose Deluge, but that's fine. Okay, now we don't have to care. So I just cast this. We can take this slow. Play a blocker that can also threaten your Narset. Sure. Again, this is Fae's really good here. Just threatens the Narset, and then we can blow up the Deafening Silence, and then we're off to the races. Might as well eat a creature since we're here. I'm gonna blow up the Deafening Silence here. The one spell per turn is much tougher for us when we have a million ways to untap mana. Alright, I'll attack Narset. See if they have anything to do with it. Yeah. Fateful, sure. Okay. Do this. See how many counter spells they have. I don't think we need to Fae for another Ugin. I think we can just Ugin Ultimatum. Yeah, -3. Put it on top. You're up. Sure. What do you got for me, Yuto? Alright, rest in peace, sure. Pass. Alright, well, don't mind if I do. Okay, that's not gonna do nearly as much as you would like it to do. Alright, Charming Prince. Play this. Ah, cat. We're at 9, so they can make a soldier. Oh, just put your into hand? Sure. Charming Prince. Alright, so either they drew exactly Veto, or they're dead. One on top, one on bottom. Alright. Well, I guess they could have also drawn, they did not. Okay. Omniscience, Ear, Poor. And Zelda's done her exploring. I can rest for a moment. Alright, draw some cards. Four. Strings. So I'm gonna blink of an eye the rest in peace so we can battle get recovery in case they're being clever with the omniscience. They're not. Okay, cool. Zelda's like, let me F6 for you, friend. Like, nope. No, thank you. The lengths we have to go to. There we go. We did it. All right, nice little 3-0. And let's see if we can close this out. Here we are, back for round number 4. Against the Sandwich King. Alright, well, this hand's a little slow, but they didn't show us Solaris, and we have 6 mana on 4, plus a Fae. Okay, so we're probably going to play this Brawl. Get a Scry in here. We want to find, I think we just want to find some sort of action. Not bad. I take Vizier. Helps us get to where we're going. We can screen wipe. See if they have a Thali. No. Okay. We Brawl. Sure, Skycliff's fine. Don't really have anything to do with this Lotus Field, which is kind of. I think we're still just gonna run it out. We could cycle to untap it, but again, we don't have anything to do after that. Like we could play Fave. We're not under enough pressure to wanna do much yet. Like we get to Thespian stage, and then we can Fave for anger. Not bad. They don't have a Thalia. Almost. 5, 7, 8. So if we play stage, float 3, 1 floating, 4, copy. Not enough, but if we just granted, untap, can be white, this can be blue, Silveridic next turn. We could do that now. What if we wait till next turn? This nets up 1 mana. We would have 6, 7, 8 be enough. So let's just kind of hide what we're doing. Not perfect. Not perfect for sure. They can find 4 more points of damage. Problem? Probably just another Coco. I mean, last time they main phased it to try and find things like Loom. I guess this also is weak to Thalia. Because, like, we can't granted plus Wrath. Hopefully they just, like, play a Lovestruck piece. Okay. Approximately a Lovestruck piece. Another Coco. We can actually Bala Ged for Verdict here if we need to. Well, that's a little rough. They just take Bala Ged though. We can just cast this Fae of Wishes. Block. Terrible. Okay, well. This. Scry here. Want to have a better draw next turn if possible. 6, 8. We're close to Omniscience. We're not really doing anything with it, so I don't think we want to draw it. I think we'd rather have that in the deck and try and look for an ultimatum to get it out. Next turn we're probably just like 6, 8. Or just like pay 5 for this. And then anger. Or just cast some Fae of Wishes. Just gonna need them not to have a 1/1 here. We could cycle, Alliged, and then Verdict, and then we don't have any way to die. We're still just treading water till this happens. I cycle either way. A lot of draws we could hit that we'd want to see right now. That's not one. Alliged for Verdict. Now we have Fae. Another Coco. Yeah, the third one's pretty brutal there. We basically navigated this game. It plays good into this situation at least. Can't do anything here. Just draw Skyclave too? That's so rude. Alright, I guess. That's just alright. The third Coco into the Skyclave. Like, I feel like we win that game like 80% of the time. We were supposed to just get like 9 lives then. I don't know, I feel like we win that game a lot. Fortunately, we hit one percentage. Bring in the angers. Maybe we didn't need to the Verdict there, but like if they draw the Coco and then find any 1/1, we die. Like, I think forcing them to find an unlikely set of cards was better there. Keep this hand. Trying for stage. We have all our things. The only thing I think I want is just our payoff card here. Stage lets us consider scrying for blasting. We might do actually. Yeah, both of these. It's an Archon. Pain. Lotus Field does not care. It's actually not bad here. Grazer Doll, because we can go Grazer, put in Blast Zone, and place copy like immediately. Plus the Grazer will be able to block this Archon. And again, all we want to do is slow them down. We will eventually find our Wraths. So, opponents cast 4 Cocos in something like 9 turns. Alright. Little doom. But so it goes. Four makes sense. We'll have to just draw the anger here. Alright. Stop complaining. Oh, it costs 4 anyway. Now at least we're in contention. Got another Coco brewing. Alright, ooze. Ooze means we can't Balagid. Make green. Razor. It's all fine. They can eat anything they want. That's an attack, which is fine. Again, we have 6 attacks plus a jump block, and we can just level up this Archon. Alright, well, yeah, that's a little annoying. Certainly have to blast zone on that, which is a green, so we can't Balagid here. They just like play. Thinking about it. I mean, if they eat anything bad. Okay, well, Pier would be good here. I think I might just want to level this up to 3. So win. Block. Actually, hold on. So let's draw some cards here. It's cycle, but this doesn't actually up. I think. We play this. Get next to roll. We need to blow this up. We have 4. And yeah, we have enough. As long as we're alive next turn and they don't do anything too disruptive, we should be fine. Rather hold the Balagid. Another Coco. Ceratopter. It's actually, of all the things, pretty fine. Take more damage off, I think. Save this, because it saves 2 damage, then 3. This. Rid of Archon. We could Fae for Verdict, just because we can't Balagid. So that doesn't. We Fae for Verdict. Fine. Then we win next turn. Well, we can rebuy. So hit strings. 1 mana left over, becomes 7, 9. Alright. Start with a Shimmer. In a rush, they have no cards in hand. Versions Ultimatum. We need, like, we have the win, we just need to not die. Do this. Go get another Thespian. State. Cast Fae Voice. And do that. Okay. We got a blocker, we have 10 mana. Or sorry, 11 mana. Balagid to get something back if we need. Yeah, I don't think there's a card that ends. All right. I think we were pretty favored game 1. Game 2 felt great. Wouldn't change a thing. Like, we don't want these clunky draws in our deck. Like, we want the Supreme Verdict to be able to fetch. Anger is the one we're most likely going to be able to actually pass. We don't want these in. 9 lives is a good fetchable. Blink of an Eye. Blink of an Eye actually should be in. Be able to try and deal with Archon on end step. I think that. Crazy. I mean, I like Razor a lot in a matchup like this. Tough. Your time could come out. Probably Dig, actually. It's like just slow enough, even with the acceleration between Thalia, Archon, and potentially Rest in Peace. Okay, well, this hand is excellent if we find a Lotus Field, but it has no way to find a Lotus Field. They kept 7. We get a scry, a draw, a scry, a cycle, a draw. At that point, if we haven't found a Lotus Field, we're in trouble. We have 8 in the deck with Sylvan Scrying counting. I think we can do better. Stands better. I think we need here. I like a hand that lets us accelerate. They don't have acceleration, which is nice. That's a beautiful draw. Again, like, the deck's just too fair if you're not doing the thing. But yeah, much rather be accelerating into this. There's so much we can do. So that just means we don't want to play the last pass. Yeah. You can level this up to 2. Oh, they're missing on land too? That's a problem. Sure. Ooh, scrying's not bad. Later. We want it now. They Fey. Get something like Wilt, but I don't think we. I think once we cast this, I think we're just gonna trying to ensure we get another land. The temple. Try. That. Good. Example of just taking it slow, not having to deal with the hate. And still there, 1 drop. 13 drop whenever you need. Just reload our hand while we're here. These. Razor. Play a stage. And we have a lot of mana. 3, 6. We have 6 mana. We can blow this up and still make Lotus Field and a copy. Yeah. Yeah. Can't make the copy. Why not open here? Keep further into our deck. You can blow this up on end step. That's a good. Again, we're not in a rush quite yet. Means they can't play any 2-drops. Block. Coco, which is fine. The damn here. Yep, Coco. Fine. They're gonna hit the Thalia. Something to that effect. Double Archon. Sure. Oh. Do quite weak. Now we have 11 mana. They have wishes for Verdict. Kept a lot of Cocos. Alright, well, Anger of the Gods is the best card we could naturally. Granted for Supreme Verdict here. Cost. Get Ugin. 6, 9, 10, 11, 12. 3, 6, 9, 10, 11, 12. So Ugin plus the 2 from Redain plus the 2 from Elite Spellbinder would still work. I will. As long as we don't die. I'll block the 2, 4, 3s. Take 2, 4, 6, 7, 8. Go to 9. And then we should win. Could just Coco us again. Got it. Only thing that beats us here is a Damping Sphere. Which, again, we lose to Damping Sphere for going for Verdict there too. So I think going for the better plays, the wiser move here. We accounted for this. Right. 2 more. 2 more. 9, 10, 12. Recovered. We can't do anything else. Fine. Alright, you're up, opponent. Not much they should be able to do here. Yep, there we go. 4-0. That one, I think game 1 slipped away from us. Is very winnable, but definitely felt winnable all the way through and got done in 3. Alright, let's see if we can get the 5-0. Alright, here we are, back for round number 5, going for the 5-0. Lotus Field. Not much to see there. This hand's pretty good. We can get rid of the Galvanic and then just start digging for Lotus Field. Good to me. Burn them all to 6, didn't show us any companions, so we're kind of in the dark. That's fine. Alright, well, Razor. Not terrible. Okay, I'm actually going to play Grazer. Gives us a good way to block for when they get their offense going a little bit better. Accelerates us. Now we find a Lotus Field and get to 6 mana. Huge. Eidolon's fine. I don't actually cast them in cards. This is one of them. This is the first damage they're doing to it. I'm gonna take a little bit here. Take 5 damage this turn. Digging for a Lotus Field. Miss. We can grab a Fae. Thing amazing. Take it. We're gonna block. Block every time. We want to use a spell here. Kill our Grazer. So be it. I mean, Land Chain Whirler is kind of the beating. That's one of the things about this deck, is the Land Chain Whirler and not have to use a real spell. But we're never just taking. Trying. And pay for. Still need to. No. Take our Lums. Yep. And cast Fae. We're in trouble. This is a kind of matchup that we have a faster hand, like we're killing next turn, then we're fine. But this is definitely one of the slowest hands in the league. Okay. And have to block. I can't cast any spell. We're done. Alright. They carved us out. It's fine. Bring in our angers. Blink. Dig. Iteration. 1. That's fine. That's a tough matchup for sure. I'm not. They were a little bit slow compared to the burn deck, but if they get off the ground, they get off much faster. So where you can sort of like survive with Grazer to deal with the burn deck, it's not quite the same here. Like you saw, once they force you into losing points of life, it's tough. Eidolon's also one of those cards that if you have a fast hand, doesn't matter, but if you have a slow hand like we did, it's unbeatable. So things lined up poorly for us. Play. Hand's excellent. All we need is a thing to kill them with. That's fine. One of those cards that, like, we're not targeting them, so I understand the theory of where it probably comes in, but it's not actually going to do anything. Foamy. Oh no. Ah, 1-drops. That's gonna hurt. It's crying. Another stage. Even though we could get Blast Zone, I want the 2 stages. Gives us to a better point of being able to kill them. Missed on land? Okay, well, that's terrible. We're not targeting you. 4, great. We're on track. I wonder how many times you put a card under before cracking it, trying to hit your second land drop. Oh, hit land 2. So I could hit strings to untap both of them. We can just wait. I don't want to cast this into that. I want 4. And we can stage 4. Like hidden strings pour if we. Alright, third land. Pain Whirler coming? Need find a thing that kills them. Cast all our spells. I guess with the exception of like taking actions, I think. The pages start. Not great for a cycle. Brilliant. Getting close to just down. Yeah. Take the damage here. Oh, fine. Cool. Alright. Not great. Just flooding out. Did need to get rid of that for the ability to play more. We just need to find a big threat. Our pour was not good. Or is it? Okay. Alright, well, we'll play a Grazer. Alright, see if we get another turn here. We have a lot of blockers. We have unlimited mana. Yeah, that's fine. They sent mana to kill Brawl, which is great. There at all. We have unlimited mana. Rawl's not doing anything. He's blocking. Bomat, though. Large and in charge. For sure here. You're gonna kill this. This would have prevented 1 point of damage. Instead, they spent 3 to kill it. I said prevents 1 every turn, so. Fine. Plus, they are just gonna reload, so cards in hand don't actually mean anything. Okay, nothing too spectacular. Okay, we're gonna need this to find some action. That qualifies. 3, 6, 9, 10, 11 mana. So we 4 down to 7. Approach. Approach is bad. Balaged into another. We're definitely casting. Let's start there. Like, okay. We could dig through time. Odds are pretty high. We hit some things that can help us go off if we dig through time. We just approach. Gain 7. We can play this land to approach and grazer. Get to it pretty quickly. I don't know if we can get to it quite quick enough. But I mean, I guess we do get to play this and then bounce it back the next turn, but that's still coming in for a fair amount of damage. 9 lives is pretty good. We could Ugin, but minusing 4 makes us die to this, so we just fold, then they shock us. We don't want. Here's fine, but it might just kill us, so you really don't want to be doing. We only go to 1 mana, so we can't like peer into untaps and go from there. But I think it's either 9 lives or dig. Dig gives us the best chance to win this turn. 1 mana, try and peer. Keep going from there. I'm gonna take dig. Also gives us the most chances of finding something to survive if we miss. Okay. Blink is okay, not great. Here lets us win next turn as long as we have any amount of health left. Let's take Pier. We can take Balaged. Green. Balaged here. For Hidden Strings. That gives us 6, but not quite enough. Let's cast Fae. Cast Grazer. Put in Temple. Up. Could play this in Balaged now, but I don't think it does anything for us. Alright, we have 12 mana, 2 blockers, we're at 7. Opponent has a full grip. Can we live? We need to live at least 2. Because Pier does not work at 1. 5 mana. Chandra is fine. gonna be hard for them to kill us with this Chandra. Kill Fae, we block, they shock, whatnot. We'll block. 1. Go to 3. Here. Good place to start, almost always. I'll keep going. There is our. Approach. Five cards left in the deck. We'll hit. Go. Alright, game 3. There we go. Alright, on to game number 3. Probably do need to have Wilt as an option here. Able to enter the Vortex. I hate cutting a card like this because if they don't have Vortex, with Vortex, it's so bad for us. We cast without paying the mana. No chance. So I think I am going to cut it down. We have 2 Piers as wins, and then we have the Fae packet. And they hit a tough and slow hand, and still was dangerously close there. Dangerously close indeed. Oh, this hand does nothing. So hand does equally nothing, but somehow is worse. This hand is better, but only slightly. This, bin this, need this, and we need to hit a land. This is one of those hands that just needs to hit a land. Hold back. No, I'd like to block. We're never gonna have enough land. Alright, well, they have a 1-drop, so that's bad for us. Alright, we have 1 draw step. We find a untapped land. Get to scrying into stage, have 6 mana on turn forward. If we miss, we're probably due. Okay. Go down to 4 cards, we're at 15. See an untapped land here. Game 3 for the 5-0. Can we do it? Never did have it. Okay, so you want another Thespian stage because we're going to sacrifice it. Alright. We have the turn 4, 6 mana. Means we're looking for probably a turn 5 win. Need to be alive. Play with fire. They miss on land drop here, or they don't have another spell. I think we have a pretty reasonable chance. We're gonna go to 11. 11, we play Lotus Field. For Eruption. Okay, now it's starting to get dicey. Because we don't have a blue mana, we can't just like float 2 and Day of Wishes. Okay, well, we have Anger. We're not dead. We have a reasonable shot. Float 3, float 4, go to 2, 5, 6. Wrath their board and do everything in one turn. We have 5 here. They don't cast a spell out, they don't have one in hand. They're gonna trade whatever they have in hand for this. Okay. We have 2 pour over the pages. That's good enough for me to assume we're gonna get there. Bring both of these. No. Anger. They swapping this card? They are. So they had a basic land. Make this a Lotus Field. Okay. We have a pretty good chance of winning this turn if we're not dead. They have 2 random cards. Bomat. We go to 4 and they get to cycle. There's no 4 damage spell in this deck. But a 3 damage spell makes Peer not work? Okay. Okay. See where we go. Eidolon's a good one. Of the cards they could have had, Eidolon is not the best for us, but at least we can work through it. Blink. Oh, that's not amazing. So we go to 8 mana. I think we do just get 9 lives and just give ourselves enough outs, enough time to draw more outs. Two. Land. We can play Fae or play Shimmer. I think we play Fae. Gives us the chance to bounce it back. We only have 1 counter on 9 lives here. We get Blink at an eye, kick it on end step, draw a card, and then just Shimmer a bunch of times to hopefully find an answer. Alright, ramming up's fine. Attack with both, we block the Bomat, force them to crack it. We go to 2 sources. Also pitch this thing if we're not there yet. I mean, they have to crack, right? There's never a chance they just let us eat their Bomats. Draw your 2 cards. We go to 2 sources. Also means this is almost certain. Impulse. Sure. Mountain Bomat. Okay. Okay, so that's their whole hand. Here. Could do it. You kind of need one more. Don't have. Here is loss of life. Lose half our life around it. 1. Forest. Grazer. We take the 1 here. This into play. Pass. We need to get rid of lands. Anything that isn't going to untap here. Okay. Hidden Strings 4. Vizier, Fae. Vizier's a kill. Already have 1 Fae. Blink Hidden Strings for this should be enough. Again, we get to go block, take 1 point, go to 4, and then we're just off to the race. We'll have to blink this so we don't actually die. It's just casting our spells. Bomat swaps a land. 4 sources. Blink will put us to 5. So okay. Things a little tougher. Well, we're gonna start where we start. Or in Omniscience yet. Of no. Okay, anger is exactly what we're 6. Board goes away. And now we get that. Rings. Oh. Keep floating. Yeah. Is approach. There. Approach at 8. Merchant my next turn. Where pathway. Draw. Razor. Alright, you're up, opponent. You need to draw 3 sources of damage before we find this approach. That should be 1, 4. Top of our deck. Frostodon. Alright. Oh, Fae of Wishes. Grab dig. Dust. I'll just get rid of all these cards. Dig or approach. 7 doesn't matter what we get. 5, 6, 7. All right, we did it. We were able to pull through against mono red, get the 5-0. Lotus Field felt great. So much play to the deck. And once you start having the lines down, absolutely able to win against almost anything in the format. So great to see a little 5-0. Always happy to get a trophy. And be sure to check out my deck guide for Lotus Field. It should be going up on DraftSim in the upcoming week, I believe. Either this upcoming week or the week after, but hopefully this video will help keep people tided over and inspires people for the showcase. Anyways, thanks for watching. Until next time. Hey, are you one of the 87% of people enjoying this channel on YouTube that aren't currently subscribed? Let's fix that by hitting the subscribe button down below. Thanks.